Hello, welcome to NutriOptimized Meals. In today's recipe, we blend taste and health with a twist on this Filipino classic, the adobo. Join me as we turn up the flavor and turn down the guilt with our low-calorie, high-protein chicken adobo. Let's get cooking. Okay, so we are going to start with our chicken, 800 grams of chicken thighs, skinless and boneless. Ideally, we choose some with not much fat, as you can see over here. So that's a good one, and we're gonna cut them in big chunks along like that. I like to cut in around 3 to 4, it depends on how big it is. If you see that there is some blood or joints or an excess of fat, it's good to remove them, as I'm doing over here. And continue cutting. I like to cut in big chunks because once we cook for a long time, it's gonna be good bite size. Also, when we are splitting into our portions, it's easier to recognize and how much you want to put into each of the portions, so essentially divide it easier. This is our chicken all cut. As you can see, it takes 1 minute. And next step, we're going to marinate it. So we put it into a bowl. For our marinade, we are going to use 3 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 5 tablespoons of white vinegar. Coconut vinegar will be very good, but any white vinegar is okay as well. 2 teaspoons of sugar, cane sugar, about 4 to 5 bay leaves, and 1 optional chili. I like a bit spicy, that's what I put it. It's not in the traditional, but I like it. And the last one is going to be garlic, quite a lot. So it's about 10 cloves of garlic. No need to chop them or anything, just crush them with the hand or use the knife. Chop them if you want, but it's not necessary, as when we cook it, it's gonna cook for a long time, so they're gonna get mashed and incorporated into the sauce. Make sure that you marinate everything well, push it all the way to the bottom, and we are going to place in the fridge for minimum 1 hour, ideally 2 to 4 hours or overnight. Okay, while we wait for the chicken to be marinated and absorb it, we're going to prepare. So over here I have 1 pepper, 2 big bok choys, you can use also smaller ones if you find them, and some mushrooms, about 200 grams of mushrooms. I like the oyster mushroom because they're very meaty, but any other mushroom that you like goes well. I prepared the oyster mushroom. They are very easy. As you can see, you just break it with the hand into big chunks. Next we go with the pepper. We cut the top and we put it up. Now we follow along the lines that you see over there, so the white part stays in the center. The white part of the pepper is a bit bitter, so we don't want to have them. So if you see that you have any on your pieces, just cut it off. And I like to cut my pepper in big chunks. This we're gonna add towards the end because we want it to be crunchy. And last we prepare the bok choy. I'm gonna remove the bottom a little bit, and I'm gonna cut along all the way up. So I'm gonna cut essentially in half. If it's too big, you can cut in quarters like I'm doing over here. If they're small, if you cut in halves, is good as well. And that's our prep done. Very easy. Okay, now our chicken is marinated. We are going to place a pot in about medium to high heat. Before we put it, we make sure that the chicken is well coated. And onto the pot, I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon of olive oil or any oil that you wish. Make sure that it's hot and it's sizzling. So we need it to sizzle because we want to give a nice sear to the chicken, a little bit of color. Color means flavor. Make sure not to overcrowd the pan. As you can see over here, I'm leaving quite a lot of space in between the pieces, and it's gonna take me a couple of times to cook all the chicken. I'm gonna touch it and let it sear nicely in one side. I'm going to turn it, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Make sure you keep the heat to high, medium high, and avoid touching too much. Just turn it, leave it like that. Once the first batch is done, just put it on a tray and move on to the next one until we finish all of it. That's my last batch over here. And you will see that there is loads of flavor on the pan still there. Don't worry about that, we're gonna use so all the flavor there. So I'm using the 1 calorie spray. I'm spraying a couple of times, and I put all my mushrooms there. So the same as I sear the chicken, I'm searing also the mushrooms. I avoid touching them, and I just turn them. Once they are nice and seared, they have a lovely color. As you can see, they start absorbing all the flavors from the chicken. Now that they are ready, I'm going to put all the chicken back, all together with the juices. There's all the flavor there. I still have the heat to medium high. And then I put 1 teaspoon of ground pepper. You can choose black or white, doesn't really matter. They're both really good. And I use the marinade, and I add 400 milliliters of chicken stock. If you don't have chicken stock, you can also use water, no problem at all. And put everything in there. So what I want to do now is make sure that everything is well spread. The bay leaves are spread, also the garlic, and it's submerged as much as possible. I still have the heat to medium high, and I want it to start boiling. Once it starts boiling, there we go, we are going to wait for about 5 minutes. This is going to help us with acidity with the vinegar. After the 5 minutes, we cover it, we turn it to low heat, and we will be checking on it every 15 minutes or so. We will cook it for a total of 30 to 45 minutes, lid on. This is our last time. Everything is okay. So now lid off, we're gonna cook it for another 10 to 15 minutes. So what we want is for all the juices to reduce, and they will help to coat all the chicken. It's gonna be lovely. So you can see here it's reduced already. Halfway, I would say, so it's a good time to put the peppers. As I mentioned before, we don't want to put the peppers too early because otherwise they will mash, and I want them to have a nice crunch. I want to have texture. It's very important to have lots of flavor, but also texture is gonna make us enjoy the food even more. Eating low calorie or being in a diet doesn't mean that we need to eat boring food. So now I turn the heat to medium and we're gonna cook again until the juices reduce and they are quite thick and they start coating nicely, as you can see here. So this is almost ready. There we go. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm gonna transfer to a tray. Switch up the heat. Transfer to a tray. We are gonna bring it back. Don't worry if it's something stick, just grab it, and don't worry about all those juices as we're gonna use them as well. We still have the bok choy to cook. So I turn the heat up again, I use the 1 calorie spray, and now as you can see I remove also the stalk there. I'm gonna place them, pressing down, so they're gonna char a little bit, they're gonna get a little bit of color. And to finish them off, what we will do is steam them a little bit. So I will put a tiny little bit of water in there, just a tiny bit, it's not much necessary. Bring the heat to high and cover. They will be ready in about 2, 3, 4 minutes, no more than that. We still want to have them a bit crunchy as well. You can see they're cooked. Now wrap them all into the juices from the pan and they're ready to go. And that's it, all our prep done. So over here I have 200 grams of cooked jasmine rice, and this is going to make me 4 big portions of meat. So if I want to do 4 portions of food, I will need 800 grams of cooked rice. This is a perfect meal to batch cook and you're gonna have for the whole week. This is a perfect idea. There you go. And here is the nutritional breakdown for each portion. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and like. Bye bye!